Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
And we're going to begin with the local forecasters tracking a severe weather threat overnight with a line of storms headed our way. Glad you're with us at 11. So far, the storms largely have missed us, though that doesn't mean we're in the clear.
But let's get right on over to Paul, who's been tracking these storms all night. Paul.
Yes, and there's not a whole lot going on in the area right now. We have a few light raindrops around, but you start heading back to the west, you start to see some interesting activity. Now, here in Livingston County here, we got just a little thunder shower here. You see just a couple of lightning strikes, but then back farther to the northwest here, let's just widen it out a little bit so you get a little better perspective. You can see that we have this line of storms. Now, what's concerning to me, now, first of all, there's no severe weather with it right now. There are no warnings in effect, although this pink area here, that is all a severe thunderstorm watch. But all of this is moving basically in this direction. So that means that if you are in the line here, you're getting repeated batches of torrential rain. So that produces a flooding threat. So we're going to be watching that aspect of things as well as we watch this stuff move toward the area. So the Storm Prediction Center has been very consistent with assessing the risk for severe weather, and it increases the farther southwest you get in the area. So basically our south zone, you're at the highest risk. Then you get into Wayne County, most of Washtenaw, southwest Oakland County, Livingston County, that's a slight risk, and even less of a risk farther to the north. As far as the threats overnight, well, isolated wind gusts, if this thing comes together like it potentially could, very, very strong wind gusts, but hail and perhaps flooding is definitely a possibility. And then we cannot rule out a tornado, although that's very unlikely at this point. I'll be back with more coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Paul, and with that severe weather possible overnight, wake up to Local 4 News today for weather and traffic updates. They get started at 4:30 a.m.
Now to breaking news from Detroit's east side, with more than a dozen shots fired into a crowd outside Ascension St. John Hospital.
Police now connecting the shooting at the hospital to another shooting that happened on I-94. Jason Colthorpe is live tonight. Jason, we have 2 victims here.
Yeah, and Kim, the second victim was shot right outside the ER here, right in front of police officers. Let me just set the stage here as state police try and piece together this investigation. They've taken it over from Detroit now. They believe this started as a freeway shooting on I-94. They think whoever did the shooting in that followed the victim here to St. John in an effort to possibly finish the job. A wild and dangerous encounter began on I-94 when shots were fired between 2, possibly 3 vehicles around 5:45. One person was hit and went to Ascension St. John Hospital. As a group of the victim's family gathered outside the ER, Detroit police say about 6:20 is when this black Equinox and this white Impala met up in the hospital parking garage before emerging moments later. They say someone in the back of the Equinox fired several shots with police right there on the scene and then drove off.
You would never expect this to happen at the hospital.
Among the patients in the ER were 4 young people from Detroit Public TV who were taken there by ambulance after their own accident with a Mack truck on I-94. They and another patient, Devon Morrow, describe what happened.
And we see a guy drive up.
I seen a guy and his son standing by the window.
And he stick his hand out the window, fire about 15, 20 shots.
Everybody started jumping around on the floor because gunshots were everywhere.
By then, we land on the ground. I mean, because you can hear him hitting the glass.
It was like an automatic type weapon with rapid bullets. It was like pop, 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 pop.
I guess St. John spent money on glass because they didn't go through.
He jumped out the wheelchair on the floor. Like, I feel like if you get shot at the hospital, it's time to go.
I came in because of high blood pressure. And to see this happen, man, I'm cool right now, man.
A lot of patients just leaving the ER. And we can confirm that is bulletproof glass they have back there, thankfully. Now, we did see a Dodge Charger not that long ago get towed out of here. We believe that's the victim's vehicle that was involved in the freeway shooting and then came here. As for the 2 victims, we're told both are stable. The second man believed to be the father of the victim. He was shot in the ankle, the one standing outside of the ER. We'll keep an eye on their conditions as well. For now, Kim, back to you.
Jason, what about the hospital, though? Is it back open?
It is. In fact, we got a statement from the hospital that said patient care was uninterrupted. However, Several people were turned away as they were investigating this, that they couldn't get into the hospital. And obviously you heard from the people in that story that just flat out left the hospital. So I think they would take issue with that a little bit. Back to you.
Yeah. All right. Jason, thank you. Devin.
A plume of black smoke pouring out of the roof of the Somerset Collection. It can be seen for miles during rush hour traffic. Turns out a kitchen fire at the Capitol Grill is to blame. Mara McDonald live in Troy tonight. Troy Fire got on top of that really quickly, and that made a huge difference here, Mara.
Devin, they sure did. And let me show you something. Number one, we're about 2 blocks away from Somerset. It's right there. But look at what's right here. Troy Fire Station number 3. They had about 60 to 70 firefighters out there. It made a difference. A cloud of smoke was seen pouring out of the roof and started filling the inside of the mall.
I started smelling burning. So then I started telling everybody, what's going on? What is going on out here? So then I'm seeing more smoke. So now I'm like, okay, I need to get everybody out of here. I'm like, everybody, please get out of the store now. Upstairs in the 3rd floor food court, the smoke was far more pronounced.
It looked like it was just a lot of smoke, and it didn't look like they were cooking or it was something like, it looked like something was on fire.
Customers started running.
It was like a freak out yell, like, what is that? Let's run the opposite direction.
The fire itself started in the kitchen of the Capitol Grill.
We believe that through the exhaust system of the kitchen, it got brought up. The fire got extended up to the roof.
So you had firefighters swarming the inside of the restaurant and on top of the roof, attacking it from both ends.
Once we figured out the situation, we were able to suppress it with our hose lines. We were able to make sure that we extended all the way through. We checked on each level of the mall, make sure we didn't have extension to any other portions. Luckily, we didn't have any other fire damage to the other areas of the mall, but there was some water damage and smoke damage.
Back here live, no injuries whatsoever, and expect the north side of the mall to be open tomorrow, just not the Capitol Grill. We're live in Troy tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara. In Warren, police say a man hurt in a house explosion was on a federal watch list and has possible links to domestic terrorism.
The 38-year-old man lost a hand as he handled an explosive at a home on Gentner near 8 Mile and Hayes on Saturday. You see the garage was destroyed, some windows are broken. Police say investigators found several small explosive devices, guns, and 4,000 rounds of ammunition. They say it was enough to blow up the entire block.
That's crazy. I don't know what he would be doing with all that ammo. He's like trying to go to war or something.
I don't think the neighbors knew that this person was that dangerous, that they were living really, quite frankly, next to a time bomb. It was just ready to go off.
Right now, the man remains in the hospital, 2nd and 3rd degree burns on more than half of his body. So far, no charges have been filed.
Day 2 of the January 6th committee hearings focused today on establishing what it describes as the big lie. Video testimony was played from William Barr, who served as President Trump's attorney general until he resigned. Barr testified that he told the president there was no fraud in Detroit.
People saw boxes coming into the counting station at all hours of the morning and so forth. And I explained to him that at that point, I knew the exact number of precincts in Detroit. I think it was 630 something. I said, Mr. President, there are 630 precincts in Detroit, and unlike elsewhere in the state, they centralized the counting process, so they're not counted in each precinct. They're moved to counting stations, and so the normal process would involve boxes coming in at all different hours. So there's nothing. And I said, did anyone point out to you, did all the people complaining about it point out to you, you actually did better in Detroit than you did last time? I mean, there's no indication of fraud in Detroit.
The committee is trying to prove former President Trump pushed a false narrative to remain in office and convinced his followers they must fight to keep him there. The next hearing will be Wednesday at 10 a.m.
A lot of attention will be on Wall Street tomorrow after the Dow dropped nearly 900 points today. New concerns about inflation causing a possible recession sent the markets reeling. The S&P 500 off more than 3% during the day, closed down 150 points, ending the day in bear market territory as it's off more than 20% from its January high. Much of this sell-off attributed to investor concerns that the Fed is going to have to continue to raise interest rates to try to cool off inflation. Shares of General Motors actually closed below $33 a share. Significant because that is below the post-bankruptcy IPO. The first time GM shares have been below $33 since October of 2020. Since the start of the year, GM shares are down about 47%. They've lost almost half.